something that dropped the same day as Francis and the Lights. Black Mirror, season 4. So Black Mirror is actually an interesting show. When it came out on Netflix last year, 2 years ago now.
No, yeah, it was October 2016.
Feels like a long time ago. So yeah, October 2016. You hadn't caught up yet, so we weren't really able to talk too much about it. I think I gave a couple of takes on the episodes that I really enjoyed and some that I didn't so much. But you've had a chance to catch up now, Dave. So after you've spent so much time catching up in Black Mirror, how would you describe Black Mirror?
Yeah, it's a very unique show. I mean, I think the first thing you have to talk about is Charlie Brooker. He's the creator, producer, wrote a lot of it as well. Because it's, even though it's now, the rights are now owned by Netflix, the distribution rights, it's very much a British show. And Charlie Brooker, obviously a British fellow, but most of the talent in locations are primarily English based, English influence, whatever. But yeah, no, it's interesting because like I had heard about Black Mirror for such a long time. I mean, series 1 came out in 2011, series 2 in 2013, and then the John Hamm Christmas special was in 2014, but it didn't get to Netflix. But Netflix didn't pick up the initial rights to just have it on the platform until the end of 2015, the end of 2014. So it was something that you kind of knew about because it's like, oh, there's this really interesting BBC show. Have you seen it? Oh, we can't talk about it. It's about spoiling it, blah, blah, blah. But then it got to Netflix and then it really blew up. And then, Netflix basically outbid Channel 4, which is the British channel that used to be on, for the rights. And I think they spent like $40 million on it. And then they immediately commissioned 12 episodes to be split into 2 seasons. And, when at that time, there was only 7 episodes out. So they just immediately commissioned, twice as much content right away. And we've just got the last batch of that, at the end of last year. So, I think it's definitely obvious that the show both took more risks, but also had had more opportunities to have a miss with the extra quantity, with the increased seasons with seasons 3 and 4. But overall, I don't really knock the show on that because it's an anthology show. They have to start from scratch every time. Inevitably is going to take risks, and some things are just not going to land.
I actually think Netflix helps with that though, because if it's a weekly show and it's an anthology, if you have a flop, it stands out because you're sitting with that for a week.
Yeah,
whereas on Netflix, you have a flop and you can just say, okay, well, I'm going to the next one. Hopefully, that will be better. And the thing is that there have been flops with this show, but I would say majority of these episodes are good to excellent television.
Right, and even the ones that are clear low points, I still don't think are bad. They're not terrible. I don't regret watching them. So it's all relative.
Yeah, and I think the reason that we both agree that even the low points of the show are still worth watching is because this is a show that is a commentary on technology and society and the effect that moving forward, developing technology into these like higher, more invasive ways is going to impact the way that we relate, the way that psychologically we're impacted, and just overall like the way the world is. A couple episodes take place in like dystopian futures, which
some of it's really high concept.
So it's definitely a thought-provoking show, which even the bad episodes still make you go, huh, like that was interesting, or at least something to think.
Like you get where they were thinking, or you got what they were trying to do, but maybe the execution was too heavy-handed or something.
So now that you've caught up, what are some of the high points for you from the past?
I think season 1, the entire history review, the clear leader there, and then series 2, Be Right Back, as well. I'm a fan of White Christmas. Actually, before I even continue, the cool thing about Black Mirror, which I love the name Black Mirror. It means your phone screen. It's a cool title. But the cool thing about the show overall is that everyone you talk to usually has a different order of favorite episodes, or a different grouping of ones I didn't like that much. It really depends who you talk to. I think it's such a great show to talk about, because it's has such a recreates such a wide ranging dialogue. But yeah, Entire History of You, Be Right Back, White Christmas, and then from season 3, obviously San Junipero. It won 2 Emmys. Obviously, we talked about that last year. I also really liked Hated in the Nation, which was very long. It was the longest episode of the series. And then series 4, which just came out, of course. I'm pretty by the book with this one. I really like the 2 obvious standout ones, USS Callister and Hang the DJ.
Yep.
But I mean, I like things about almost all of them. I don't. There's no one I vehemently dislike. I know a lot of people are kind of down on the Waldo moment, but even that one I don't think is that bad.
Well, the Waldo moment resonates, especially now that we've had the political atmosphere.
Yeah, if anything, it's like spoiled by your knowledge of the real world. Like it doesn't. It hit better back in 2013 than it does today.
Exactly. Yeah, as you were talking about it and just thinking about the episodes that I really enjoyed, the Entire History of You is one that I still sit with. I think I mentioned it on the pod in the past. It's literally one that after I watched, I need to take a walk to
Kebbell dog, Tony Kebbell, get him in good shit. He was in the Fantastic Four disaster, but he was good in Kong Skull Island. He was really funny in that. But yeah, he needs to be in more shit. Now, that's a cool thing about this show too, is it's kind of a showcase for a lot of British talent. Right. Some of people really well now, like Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, but a lot of them, he's like, oh, who's that? Oh wait, they were on Game of Thrones. It's a nice hotbed for mid-level UK talent.
Yeah, it's funny when Daniel Kaluuya was cast in Get Out and it blew up. I was like, oh, that's the guy from Black Mirror.
Right, of course.
Obviously, he's been in a lot of other quality things before.
Sicario and being Black Panther.
Yeah, and then also thinking just about episodes I really enjoyed that you didn't mention or talk about too much, like White Christmas. You mentioned, but John Hamm is just phenomenal in that, and he gets to kind of be like a Don Drapery type role, which he's always good in.
He eats it up. It's great.
And then White Bear, which doesn't really have a big star, but it's just a intense chase action filled one. And 15 Million Merits is the one with Daniel Kaluuya, but that one doesn't get enough love, I think, because it's pretty intense and it's a very like you said, high concept episode. And it's also interesting because I've been thinking just in my about a Justin Timberlake movie, what was it, In Time or
about time?
Yeah, where you have the how many minutes you have to live on your arm. It's kind of the same thing in this. You see how what your worth is, and you can build it up by doing stuff. Just interesting how they pull from all these things. What were the low points? I think you mentioned Waldo as a low point. Were there any other episodes that you look back and just thought were, not up to par?
I mean, some people cite the national anthem, the very first episode. That's the one with the pig, infamously, as a low point. And as the first episode of Black Mirror I watched, I think that was a good one to start with because it kind of, I don't know, lubricates you up. It softens you up to what Black Mirror will do to you.
I don't think it does. It goes in pretty raw dog, dude.
Yeah, I guess.
Literally
too much bestiality.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the national anthem, I guess is what I'll say. Nosedive is another off-cited low point. That was the first episode of season 3. That's the one with Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah. I really like it because that's it's such an obvious Instagram play. Everyone projects their best selves on social media, and it's a good idea. And Mike Schur and Rashida Jones wrote it. And I think did Joe Wright direct it? It's a lot of talent there. It was a little too heavy-handed by the end of the day. Maybe too long.
It's an Instagram / Uber commentary, right? Because how some Uber drivers won't pick people up who have a certain level of star or something like that. You know?
Right. And Men Against Fire, that's the one with the soldiers with the AR vision is changed or whatever, and that's another way. I think it's kind of tilts its hand too early. You kind of can see what's coming, but again, the idea, I got the idea, but didn't totally work. I've seen the first 4 episodes of the new season, and Crocodile and Archangel. I guess Crocodile was a little predictable.
And Crocodile oh man, I didn't think it was a horrible episode, but just this girl, what
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Just don't give her your memories. What are they gonna do? Put you in jail for a little bit? Like,
yeah, it was a little irrational. I don't. Yeah.
definitely. Also, I didn't find it very like believable, but it's like you have to suspend belief for a lot of these episodes.
Of course, yeah. You buy in from the start, and then as long as it doesn't break the rules it sets from there, you're okay. I think Shut Up and Dance is kind of similar to past episodes, but again, I thought it was good. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I like. I have no ones I really hate. Let's put it that way.
If there's any through line or like similarities that you see from season to season at this point, it seems like there's always going to be one that's sort of like a thriller in a way. Like they had White Bear, they had Shut Up and Dance, and then this year Metalhead seems to kind of be in the same vein of just kind of like a chase brought on by technology in some way. And then it also seems like, especially since it's come to Netflix, there's going to be one episode that's uplifting and about love in a sense, and how technology in the future could actually be helpful in terms of love, like San Junipero, which won the Emmy for TV movie.
Yeah, and then writing as well. I went to.
And so that one and Hang the DJ also had a happy ending, which you don't really get in Black Mirror. I wonder if that plays a part into why people find those to be two of the more enjoyable episodes too.
Yeah. I saw some people saying Hang the DJ was kind of lazy storytelling, and like I don't know. I think it's just such an immediately resonant, immediately personable episode that people relate to really easily. I mean, obviously it's a Tinder play. You get what it's inspired by, but yeah, I think Hang the DJ really works. But San Junipero and Hang the DJ aren't good just because they have happy endings per se. I think it's a lot more nuanced than that. USS Callister, I mean, really stood out to me. I mean, obviously Star Trek play, high production value. You get that. Jesse Plemons, Jimmy Simpson, guys we talk about, it's good talent. But I mean, the twist in USS Callister is early. Like you're watching that and you're like, oh, this is going to be about Jesse Plemons, and he's a dork. People don't really like him in the real world, but then he's this big, James T. Kirk-esque guy in VR. But don't get lost in VR, can go bad. That's like what you think's going to happen. And after the first third of it, like, oh no, he's the bad guy. And all the people in the VR are totally set in it. Like, it just does not go where you thought it was going to go. Like, I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, no, that was a great episode. Also, shout out Kristen Milotti. Like, she was the girl with the umbrella in How I Met Your Mother, and also in Fargo, season 2, I believe.
Correct.
So she's gonna be going places, and an Aaron Paul cameo at the very end.
Yes,
I was so pumped.
Did you catch it? I caught it when he started talking. I was like, I know who that is.
I know. I heard the voice, and I was like, well, first of all, I've heard this on BoJack Horseman way too many times.
Oh, right.
Recognize it. But I was so annoying. So I was like, Julianne, do you know who that is? I was like yelling at her, and she's like, no, I don't. Leave me alone. It's like, it's Aaron Paul. So excited for some reason. It really got me.
I'm the king of space.
Yeah, no, that episode, it was definitely different in format. I think that's the thing that they've gotten to do a lot more. Like you talked about, they've gotten to take more chances, and the more that they play around with the format. I mean, this is like the new age version of the Twilight Zone. If you basically
clearly inspired by it.
Oh, absolutely. And if you gave the Twilight Zone like a much bigger budget and obviously had more technology to flesh out the ideas of Twilight Zone, I think this would have become anyway. And the more that they play around with it, the more that they're going to find just different ideas that intrigue you. And I think Black Mirror is the kind of show that's just going to be around for a long time, coming out yearly to bi-yearly, and just people are going to call it quality as long as they can get actors that want to do it. It seems like people want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you see it again this season. It's attractive to big name talent like all of PTV because it's less of a commitment than a movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we technically have no more Black Mirror in the future as far as we know right now, just because Netflix hasn't ordered more. But I mean, the show was trending on Twitter. Like, the show has never been bigger or more popular. And judging by the reception this season, it's still quite well liked. So I see no reason that Netflix would let their investment go away. I mean, yeah, maybe they'll give it, they won't turn it over a year from now like they did with seasons 3 and 4, but it'll be back for sure. And I think my general take, I guess, on Black Mirror as a whole, and you can kind of see this through line throughout every season, is that Black Mirror is the best when It's about how people use technology, like their relationship with technology, and it's at its worst when it's about the technology itself, you know?
Right.
So, you know, the humanity aspect, I think, is what makes Black Mirror special. And we should get some more down the line. But definitely check this show out. I mean, it's interesting because some people actually like want to watch it out of order, and obviously you totally can. There are some, you know, Easter eggy things that you might notice, but I don't think any of them are any of them should be skipped. Just watch them all and formulate your own opinions because, again, everyone's takes on the show are different.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but there was one. There was a song in one of the episodes that kept coming up, and it was definitely from a past episode. I'm still trying to like figure it out, but I've been thinking about it. I was like, I've heard this song in Black Mirror before. I know that's like some callback to something else that happened, but I gotta spend a little bit more time with it. But they definitely do those Easter eggy things. It would be interesting to watch it out of order, but I don't think the order makes a difference either way. Like,
no, it really doesn't.
So, as we wrap up Black Mirror, we're probably not going to be talking about it again this season. But do you expect Black Mirror to potentially ever crack like a best of TV like top 10 list?
Yeah, it's a good call. I think I saw it like top 15, top 12 on the Hollywood Reporters list, but most people didn't. Most critics didn't put it on their list, even though they had the screeners ahead of time. But yeah, the reception is strong. I think it'll definitely be on there. Whether it cracks top 10, you know, I don't know. It'd be hard pressed to be beat for mine so far. You know, obviously I really like it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a good question because it's, you know, far away by the time lists come out. You know, 11 months from now, how people feel about it compared to everything else they had more recently seen. It's a good question.
Well, I also feel like Black Mirror sometimes gets dinged a little bit because it's not, you know, it is an anthology show. Like they're telling a different story every time. It's kind of like Easy.
Right.
There's not a character you're following. There's not a story you're following from episode to episode. It's kind of easy to say, well, you know, like a show like Mr. Robot, which, I mean, maybe not a good choice because Mr. Robot's one of like the best TV shows like on television in the last 5 years. But that actually has a story you're following and it does innovative things, whereas Black Mirror, it's just story to story, doing very innovative things, but just doesn't, it's not cohesive.
Yeah, I mean, I assume something from this season will be nominated at the Emmys, just like San Junipero was, and critics will probably follow that lead, you know?
I'm trying to think if any of them are long like that. I don't remember. But yeah, no, absolutely. I hope that gets some love because it's definitely a thought-provoking and interesting show, which unfortunately we won't be talking about for a while because it's not ordered yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
So
definitely tweet us at Nowstalgia Pod. Let us know what your favorite and least favorite episodes are. You know, I'd like to hear what people think because, again, it really varies.
Absolutely. And find Dave, find Dave at Martin Swagger. Find myself at Sheeny World Peace on Twitter. Go to soundcloud.com/nostalgiapod to find any way to listen to the show. And go to YouTube. Give us a subscription. Share us. Comment. You can be like Hoodie Allen, who comments on our video one time.